let's go. Let's go. Oh, no, I've been bummed off. Oh, here we go. Everyone's back. Well, nearly everyone's back. Hello and welcome, Nicole. Welcome to Alienate UK, our Wednesday edition, your gateway into the unknown. Over to you.
So we do have a guest today. We're trying to figure out some technical difficulties as usual.
As always.
So let me know if you guys echoing.
I can. Mine is absolutely fine this end. I've got no issues whatsoever. Touch wood.
So weird.
Oh, no. Would you like my electronic crystal ball?
Very nice. The plasma ball.
Yeah, I've never owned one of them before.
They're fun. They charge the air filling and stuff too.
Ooh, right. Everyone's hearing echo, but I can't hear. Cannot hear a thing. I don't know. I have no idea.
Why are you laughing? Greg is echoing too.
I know. It must be something to do with Zuckerberg in the United States and all that kind of stuff. Who knows? Anyway, I have some news. So I've already spoke to Greg about this. Yes, I've already spoke to Greg about it. So I'll talk about it first, and when he comes on, you can introduce him. So today, driving through Bedfordshire. Yeah, cloudy day, bit drizzly, but it had been raining. It wasn't raining at the time. I'm going to share this. So you remember seeing this, don't you? Let me check.
Mm-hmm.
So I am just going to add screen share. No. Share. Here we go. So you remember seeing this back in the day, like in March? Well,
no, I've never seen that before in my life.
So then today. Yep. I'm going to have to do it individually because it won't do it one at a time. So then today, I might as well do entire window. It would just be easier. Clear, add. What is going on? Can you see?
It would not be an episode of Alienate UK if there was not some kind of technical madness going on.
There's what? I don't know what's going on. Right, here we go.
I have no idea.
So, share screen. Entire screen. Entire window. This window. Share. And can you see this? Can anyone see this?
Nobody can. Oh, there we go. Something.
Right. No, do you know what? I know what I'm doing wrong. I'm sat here trying to do this and I got a clue what's going on. Right. Share screen. It's not window, is it? Entire screen. Screen 1. Share. This is so annoying. Right, here we go. God, don't you just love technology?
I do.
So this is the entire screen that I'm sharing. No, he's just like there. So this was what I seen. Yeah.
That is a hot air balloon.
And I'm watching it and I'm following it. Well, you'd think. So when I first seen it, I thought, oh, I'm going to get a photo. Quite grey. There's no colour to it. And it looks like there's a little basket underneath there. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I drive past some trees. And as I drive past the trees, only about 8-10 trees, took me about 3 seconds to get past, looked, so it's at my 10 o'clock, gone, nothing there. So I'm like, right, okay. So driving a bit further down and it comes back, but it's still at the same level where it was. I've checked the wind speed, I've checked everything. I've checked about the flying conditions of a weather balloon and I've got all that, yeah, on how they do it, like how it's done. So then this is how far away from it was. So I parked up at this farm, yeah, and there, it's about a mile away, I reckon. So that, where I'm pointing to now, is where it was. Yeah, as I took the photo, it vanished. It was around there.
That's weird.
Right, in that part. It gets better. So, this is the last photograph that I took.
Mm-hmm.
So that cloud wasn't as, the balloon wasn't as high as the cloud. It just started to, like, do you know, like when you get a block of ice and you put a hairdryer on it and you just see it evaporating, like just disappearing. This is what this did. It just disappeared into the background.
Weird.
So exact same camera as the other one. So this is a video.
Oh, there we go. We got Greg. I see a picture in the box now.
Cool. So this is the video that I got of it. And watch what happens. You can see it rotating. So that's how far away I was. But you can see it rotating as I am filming it. So today is the last day for hot air ballooning in the UK.
Oh, okay. So if you see one tomorrow, then you know somebody's either in trouble or it's something else.
Well, when I seen them first two, that was the first day of ballooning about in the UK. Everyone's at it. So I will read out to you now. Hot air balloon and clouds. Are hot air balloons allowed to fly when it's cloudy? No, hot air balloons do not initially go into clouds. In fact, it's against aviation safety rules in most countries, including the UK and the US. Here's why. Visibility. Inside the cloud, a pilot can't see anything. No horizon, no ground, no other aircraft. It's extremely dangerous because hot air balloons rely entirely on visual navigation. Moisture and turbulence. Clouds can be turbulent and full of moisture, which can cool the balloon envelope unevenly or even cause it to lose lift. Air traffic safety. Pilots must maintain visual separation from aircraft and terrain inside a cloud. That's impossible. So legally and practically, balloon pilots must stay clear of clouds, usually at least 1,000 feet vertically and 1 to 2 kilometers horizontally away from any visible clouds. It was a very cloudy day. Why would you be going up in a hot air balloon when it clearly states you can't? They might skim near a cloud's edge for dramatic effect, but never go through one deliberately. So it's either a ghost balloon, someone who just doesn't give a shit and goes out ballooning regardless of the weather and everything else. And then, or it's some anomaly of some sort. I've no idea. It looked like a balloon. It looked like a basket. But even with the basket, I still couldn't see people in it. The basket's actually called a gondola, as I found out today. There was nothing to no one. But, so I'm going down this country road between 45 and 52 miles an hour, about 3-4 miles. Every time it vanished, I'd look back, and when it come back, it was each time it was level with me. This happened about 3-4 times. And then, so I delivered to this house, got back in the van and came back the way and then turned. So initially I was going south. So I turned around, come back going north. Then I went east. The balloon was in my east all the time that I could see it. I went down this road for about 6-7 miles. I should have been able to see it at any point. It's hilly. There's trees and houses like little villages, but there's no. It was the height of it above the horizon. I should have been able to see at any point, unless any trees went in front of me, and there was nothing. So that's today's entertainment.
The chat right now is doing a really good job of introducing our guest.
I know, I can see that.
Thank you, Greg, for your patience with all the technical craziness that's going on right now.
Yeah, I just had to reboot a little bit there. And
yep.
So
I don't have any feedback now, so it's great.
As Jason Finch announced for us, we have with us today Greg O'Brien. He is an investigator and the paranormal host at Fort Mifflin.
Yes,
thank you guys for having me here.
No, thank you for coming on. Sorry about that. I just wanted to get it done and out of the way because I know I would forget. I always forget.
I think it was the Wizard of Oz up in the balloon.
Probably. Was there any tornadoes?
In the UK?
I don't know what you have over there.
You get a little dirt devil about 2 foot, and then it starts, and then it's just no, I can't be asked, and just stops again. So no, the answer to that is no.
Took a wrong turn on the way to Kansas.
Yeah, there's no yellow brick road or nothing. More of a gravelly grey dirt track. So yeah, so thank you, Greg, for coming on. It's also great to meet you. Don't know if anyone knows. I went to America earlier this year and met with Nicole and Greg and the Cocos and everybody. I'm not naming them all. I can't remember them anyway. But no, it was great. I was just saying to Greg as well, the conferences over there are so much bigger and more stuff going on than they are in the UK, which is a good thing. Not for us, but for you guys. So,
yeah, there's plenty of them.
You know what's crazy though? I have not made it to Fort Mifflin yet.
Wow.
I have to go.
Are you going to speak to her again? Just don't speak to her.
No, well, that's what this is all about, to get people involved, interested to come on out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, Greg, first question: can you explain? Because I deliberately didn't research any of this. Because what exactly is Fort Mifflin?
Yeah, sure thing. Well, Fort Mifflin is the longest active military fort in United States history, and it was started building by the British, of course, back in 1771 to protect the city of Philadelphia, which at the time was your largest English-speaking colonial city in the colonies there. So the British started building it in 1771. It was built on it was a mud island. It was an island in the Delaware River, and after about 3 years, they were over budget, so the British stopped working on constructing. So they were about a third to 2/3 of it finished. And then it sat abandoned for a couple years. And then, of course, 1775, the shot heard around the world. The Bunker Hill in Concord, Massachusetts, started the Revolutionary War. And good old Ben Franklin raised money and to get the fort not completed, but the British had used was stone granite, and then when the Americans refortified it, it was just earth and log. So then 1777 was the big siege of the Revolutionary War, largest bombardment during the Revolutionary War. You had 400 men held out for 5 weeks. You had the British Navy coming up the Delaware River to reestablish, replenish the British Army. They had there was a Battle of Brandywine, September 11th, and then the Battle of Paoli, September 21st, and Howe marched into Philadelphia, September 26th. So there was 400 men there at Fort Mifflin on the Delaware. They were holding off the British to resupply Howe, and they did for 5 weeks. Eventually, out of 400, 150 men were able to row across the Delaware River to Fort Mercer. When the fort was being rebuilt under the British completely destroyed it after during the siege, and then was rebuilt under John Adams in the late 1790s. It was rebuilt during yellow fever epidemic, so you had a lot of yellow fever deaths. War of 1812, Philadelphia was not the capital anymore, so the British didn't come up to Delaware. Civil War, it became a military prison, housing Union, Confederate, and civilian prisoners. World War I, II, and the Korean War, it was munitions depot. And so you had a lot of sickness there, death, military fort. You had executions, you had a public hanging, firing squad deaths, hanging death. I like to say the fort's unique. It's got layers of history, layers of death, and a lot of layers of spirits there at the fort. So it's an incredible historic spot.
So how did you get involved with the fort?
Goes back. This is way before all the ghost hunters. Before it was a big haunted location. Scouting. It's always been a good scouting location. So we were there with some scouts. And we spent a night, and it was crazy. There were the adults. We were waking up, hearing adult voices, doing head counts of scouts, going around chasing full bodies. It was nuts. So that after that, I got really interested in the paranormal. That's what Ghost Hunters then started. Excuse me. The show came out, and in fact, the following year we were going to go back, booked a weekend. And we had to get rescheduled, and it turned out that's when Ghost Hunters they bumped us for filming. But that's how I got involved, and got involved with the different groups, and then eventually volunteered at the fort a lot, and got more involved in the paranormal, and was asked then to become the paranormal host of the fort. So it's been close to 10 years now with the paranormal host at the fort. So
the fort led you to the paranormal, not the paranormal led you to the fort?
Yeah, I mean the fort led me right to the paranormal. Yeah, and it's kept me there.
So do you think you'll ever move on from there, go somewhere else, or do you feel like there's something keeping you attached to the fort?
Yeah, I really do. I really think I'm there for a reason. I've had offers of going other places to start up some programs, but I just you fell in love with it. It's just so unique, and the spirits there, and they know those of us that have been there for years. They know us by our names. They call us by our names. So it's nice to have friends there that know you and not have to start all over again some other place.
Yeah. I suppose you could always take them with you if you needed to. You could say, look, just you can be an attachment until we get to the next drop off, but then you stay there.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I had an attachment one time, and that wasn't very
Oh,
nice. So I could, always make sure when I'm there, say hi to everybody, say goodbye, good night to everybody, and just let them know, stay where you are. I'm going to go home, and this is your home. Not, don't follow me. So let's like to keep them where they are.
So what's some of the bigger or more interesting paranormal claims about the fort?
There's just like I say, there's so many layers and layers of the fort. We have one of the big things you hear about is the screaming lady. There's a scream that's heard, and I've heard it multiple times over the years. People have caught it, recorded it. We don't know exactly who the screaming lady is. I mean, it is a blood curdling scream and it's a female. People say, well, is it a eagle, a hawk, a fox, or no, you hear it, it's human and it's blood curdling. People pick up the name Elizabeth. We've had Elizabeth Pratt that died at the fort back in the early 1800s. She lived there with her sergeant husband, but again, this was during yellow fever time in Philadelphia, and she had an infant son that died at the fort from yellow fever, and a young daughter named Elizabeth that died at the fort, yellow fever, and then she also died of yellow fever. We picked up, there's been Elizabeth Bunker that died at the fort during when it was a military prison of, they said it's just a gastrointestinal. It's probably dysentery, which ran through the fort big time then. So people think maybe the screaming lady's and Elizabeth screaming because her children dying, or Elizabeth Pratt Bunker screaming because of the pain from the dysenteries. But we don't know. Behind the fort is Army Corps of Engineers, and they have called Philadelphia police a few times to come out because of the screams coming from the fort. And so it's documented that the Philadelphia police have come out responding to screams and have not found any source from the screams. So that's one of our big hauntings. We have a tour guide ghost. He's a colonial soldier that gives tours, and he's not on the payroll. He's not on the payroll. So
not yet.
That's pretty.
Not yet. Yeah, it's usually
he's going to catch it in when he's done a few years.
Yeah, he's gonna he's gonna want some retirement pay or something. But yeah, it's usually during school groups. He'll show up, and usually he appears, and or when there's hardly anybody at the fort, one or two people, he'll give a tour, and then they rave about this tour guide, and it's like, well, we don't have a tour guide working today, and they freak out. So yeah, I haven't gotten a tour from him yet. I've seen him, but he hasn't given me a tour yet.
Yeah.
So I'm working on that.
Not yet. Still time.
Not yet.
Can I ask you about the faceless man stroke the whistler?
Yeah, the faceless man. A lot of people think the faceless man or the headless man is there was when it was a military prison, we had one of our most infamous prisoners was named William Howe, not General William Howe, the British general, Private William Howe. He was from Pennsylvania. He actually was a war hero down at Battle of Fredericksburg. He picked the American flag back up that was dropped and carried it through battle. He actually got developed dysentery and did not want to report to a field hospital. He was supposed to report to a field hospital in Washington, D.C., but he decided he was going to his house up in Pennsylvania in Perkiomenville. And he ended up staying for 6 months. Eventually, they sent some federal troops up to get him back, and So they didn't identify themselves, banged on the doors in the middle of the night, shot rang out. One of the federal officers was killed. He then was brought back, captured, brought to the fort. Eventually, then was um, kept in solitary confinement. He was then um, convicted of desertion and murder, and he was hung at the fort. So it was a public hanging. It was the only public execution. So some people think it was him because he would put the hood over your head to hang you. So some people think that's the spirit ghost of William Howe. But me personally, I think it went during the siege, 1777, again, the largest bombardment of the Revolutionary War. The British were firing 1,000 to 1,100 cannonballs per hour at the height of the bombardment. So the fort, um, the soldiers were given extra rations of rum if they could retrieve cannonballs that we could shoot back at the British. So the British were shooting the cannonballs. These guys were running after the cannonballs so they can get shot, get their rum, and so it could be shot back. So eventually, after I guess a few too many shots of rum, they were fighting over trying to catch a cannonball and not wait till it, hit.
Wow.
So
Sounds like a really dangerous game of dodgeball.
it was a very good danger. So it's well documented that the guys were getting their heads blown off, just getting annihilated with the incoming cannonballs. So I really think the headless faceless is one of those soldiers that just boom got his head off, and he's still wandering around. But yeah, the Whistler, he walks all over the place. I mean, I hear him all the time. He likes to just do a nice little whistle tune, and he's heard throughout the whole fort. You just hear somebody whistling, and it's like right next to you. You just hear this whistle. But there's lots of there. Like I say, full bodies, shadows, you name it, it's there.
It says you've got the lamplighter, the blacksmith, and residual battle energy.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know what that one was, but the lamp keeper, there would have been oiled lamps hung out throughout, and his job was, hold your beer. His job, of course, would be at dusk to go around and light the lanterns so that there was light there at the fort, and then, of course, in the morning go around and extinguish them. And he's been cited numerous times. And in fact, just Saturday night, we had an open investigation at the fort. We have four, sometimes five open investigations where it's open for the public, and it's for anybody, beginners to, those people that have show up in their U-Hauls with every piece of equipment that's ever been made to bring toward ghost hunt. 30 pelican cases they're coming in there. But we just had one Saturday night, and at the end, pretty much everybody was out of there. There was four of us standing out in parade ground, and during the investigation, we tell everybody to stay inside the fort area, not to go outside. There's the main gate. We don't want people going out because there's a moat around the fort, and we want people to stay in. And there was four of us standing there, and we saw this figure, and it's walking towards the main gate, and it has a light, but that light was hanging down around its knee. So we thought it was somebody with a flashlight, and they walked out through the main gate. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I said, I better go get this person, come back into the fort. We don't want them outside the main gate. And I go running down, and I go out there, and I look around. I go all over looking. There's no one around, not any sign of this person. So I came back in, go over to the other three, and I said, there's no one out there. And next thing you know, we look, and then we see it lit, that by the gate lit up like a light was coming towards it from the outside. So I ran back out to go check, and of course nothing was out there. So we think that would have been the lamp keeper, the lamp keeper that was doing around out there. So, but yeah, so he's been sighted numerous times, and a lot of times people will see him, and then yeah, he just vanishes. And I would imagine that's just residual energy for him going around doing his doing his
Just doing his
rounds.
job.
Yeah. So yeah. So that was really neat that 4 of us saw the same thing at the same time.
That gives you like really good validation when more than one person saw it, because when you see something, you can explain it away like, oh, it's a trick of the light. But when multiple people are confirming it,
Yeah.
you know you're not crazy.
Yep. Yeah, it was. We all saw the exact same. So yeah, it is nice when things could be verified.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, go on.
I was going to say, before working at the fort, did you believe in ghosts?
I did. You know, growing up, there was a piece of property, and there was an old building that was out on this property, and I would go out there, and I heard voices, stuff in this old piece of property out there. So I did believe in ghosts, but I didn't get into really the paranormal until after the experiences at the fort.
Yeah. So have you had any like cryptid encounters there? Not just like ghosts or spirits. Have you had any other genre of the paranormal?
Not really. Just well, I mean, just the spirits. I mean, there's animal spirits there. So yeah, and that whole area that would have been the Lenape Indians of the Delaware tribe. I've actually found some old Native American tools on site. So I'm sure there's some Native American spirits there also.
Does that, so with the Native American, do you feel a different type of energy when they're about than you would the everyday spirits? Is that even a thing? You know what I mean, don't you?
Right. Yeah. I've you could sense them, but I've never seen any of the Native Americans there.
Okay.
It's just the civilians that have died there, and the union, the soldiers. But um, there is total of 40 acres, and there's areas of that outside the fort that really never have been investigated. So I'm sure getting some of these areas to check out outside the fort could might that would be a possibility of experiencing something down there.
Yeah. So is there any stupid question, but is there any water, any lakes, any rivers? I know you said it's off the Delaware River, but
Yes.
are there any more like streams type thing that run right through it?
Well, I mean, we have a moat completely around the fort, which is
still full.
Yeah, it's still full. It's a floodgate that connects the moat with the Delaware. So during high tide, low tide, the water flows in and out from the Delaware. So and it's right down. We're right on the Delaware River. So right above is the Schuylkill River that runs into the Delaware. So that another reason why they put the fort right there. It could defend the Delaware and also keep things from going down through the Schuylkill.
Yeah. Do you get any activity in or around the water then?
Oh yes. Yeah, it is. I mean, there's activity all over the place there. Every inch of that. I guess you had about 250 men killed during the Revolutionary War, and And then the drownings, we've gotten a lot of drowning victims from the wash up and there's documented drownings in the moat. So all the land around there, the executions were held outside the fort walls. The firing squad executions were, the hanging was inside. So yeah, there's a lot of death all over that surrounds that whole place.
Jeez.
And plus, there was the old hospital building. They had the graveyard back there, but they moved the bodies in the late 1870s. They opened up a new national cemetery and they moved those bodies. So, but you know, I'm sure they didn't get all the bodies and they didn't get every piece of bone that was buried there. So
that's a gruesome thought. Like, hey, you forgot an arm.
Yep. Plus, when the word got out that they were moving the bodies, grave robbers came in and started digging bodies. So you know, you know, so you don't know how many bodies were taken by the grave robbers too. So so those graves were decimated.
Grandizer has a question for you, Greg. How far back has some or you had contact with past spirits, up to Civil War, up to Revolutionary War, prior? So, like, I guess, what is the oldest spirit you've encountered?
The oldest spirit I've encountered there is that I know of is Revolutionary War. Like I say, I've seen the full figure Revolutionary War soldier. He has brown hair that hangs down, so I've seen that soldier. So yeah, I haven't, like I say, I haven't encountered any native indigenous people, but this, I've seen the Revolutionary, the Civil War, and I'm sure some of the civilians could have been drowning victims. So
yeah,
you're not at the fort right now, right?
No, I'm not. I'm at home right now.
Okay, because I can't ask you the question if you were. What's your favorite spirit from Fort Mifflin?
Well, there's a spirit that's there that I call it a love-hate relationship. During the Civil War, besides the Confederates, most of them were from Gettysburg. They were marched from Gettysburg and held at the fort, and there were Union prisoners, you know, those that like William Howe, that was charged with desertion, murder, or any kind of military. But there were civilian prisoners. Some people call them the political prisoners. These were regular, everyday citizens that were imprisoned under Lincoln. I guess it was right after the Emancipation Proclamation. Lincoln became very hated, and if it was determined that you spoke out against the war, spoke out against Lincoln, you were locked up. There's a great book. It's called American Bastille, and it was written by John Marshall in the late 1870s, trying to identify the tens of thousands of Americans that were locked up throughout the country. So we had 44 from upstate Pennsylvania. They were called the Fishing Creek Conspiracy or Fishing Creek Confederacy. There, it was supposed to be a group upstate that supposedly they had a fort up there to defend, but they were a bunch of people that opposed the war, and they refused to report for the draft. And Lincoln sent some troops up there, and one of the patrols was ambushed, and there was an officer killed. And then he sent up some more troops, and they rounded up everybody they could, and ended up 44 of those civilians were sent to the fort. And then there was another group of 40 from Clearfield, County, Pennsylvania, and in that group there was a sitting judge, um, Jacob Wilhelm. He was a sitting judge, and he was accused of basically being anti-Lincoln, but he had two of his sons were in the Union Army, and they were ordered to arrest him. So he got sent to
Wow.
so he got sent to the fort. So we have this one spirit. He identifies himself as the judge, and I, I'm trying to think, verify if that's Jacob Wilhelm or is it just some alpha spirit that goes by the judge. But
Yeah.
um, he um, he greets me as it's Fu Greg or Greg Fu. That's
Oh,
how he greets me all
nice.
the time. And yeah, it's pretty wild. I always say, "Hey, Judge, how you doing? How about a great do a great greeting?" And then you get "F you, Greg." So yeah, he's got a foul mouth. So I tell anybody if you pick up the FU, you know who it is. Because he drops
Yeah.
the F bomb constantly. So like I say, him and we don't have anything negative, demonic. I mean, but you got some. I would imagine it's mostly all the political prisoners that were just
Yeah.
rounded up in the middle of the night and thrown in prison. That they're not very happy. So
Mhm.
those some of them
No.
because some of these guys were 70 some years old that were locked up
Wow.
and they didn't last very long. I mean, the prison was just they basically were sleeping in their own human waste, and dysentery ran through. And besides the prisoners dying of sickness, the people in the garrisons, they were getting sick and dying too. So it was very
Wow.
nasty conditions there. So people, uh, weren't very happy. So they let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't it funny how
Question.
that happens? Like the crankiest, like meanest spirits end up being like your favorite.
Yeah. Well,
Is
because
it
they
character?
respond.
Yeah.
They've got character, haven't they?
They got the
Mhm.
character. I mean, we do
That's
have
it.
women and children spirits there too. So, because it's a military fort, there was families that lived there, and of course they got the sick and died, and of course we have a lot of documentations of little kids washing up, drowning there down there. So, the kids are pretty cool. They like to say hi, and I've seen I call my brother and sister two little blondes, a boy and a girl that love running around playing. And we do candlelight tours, which start this weekend at the fort, where we walk
Oh.
around. We have the fort just lit up in candles and lanterns, and we just take a lantern around and walk through the grounds and tell stories. Tell her, the only stories we tell are the ones that have been well documented over and over and over, and experiences that any of our tour guides have had. But I had the one year I had a group, and I had a few young boys in the group. And as I'm walking into the fort, I could see the two little the brother and sister running around playing, and I didn't say anything. And I got to the one spot and I started talking. Then I asked, "Does anybody have any questions?" And these two little boys, the one raises his hand and he goes, "Did any children die here at the fort?" And I said, "Yes, we've had documented deaths of children dying here at the fort." And then I said, and why are you asking that? He goes, "Well, when we came in, I saw the little boy and girl running around playing." And I'm like, "Well, welcome to Fort
Wow.
Mifflin. You just saw the brother and sister." So,
Jeez.
so yeah. Yeah, they are. You could have equipment set up, and there's in the officer quarters. You have a couple rooms, and you have equipment in all the rooms, and it goes off in this one room, and you go over there, and it stops, and then it starts in the other room, and then you go there, and it stops, and that's happened to me a few times, and then eventually you hear them giggling, they're laughing because they're making you go back and forth. So it's pretty cool.
So, is there any part of the fort that you won't go to for whatever reason?
Um, Years ago there were um, the Powder magazine, which is where they stored the gunpowder. For years, I could not go in there by myself. When there's no light at night, it's pitch black, and I just couldn't go in there by myself alone. And then eventually, I said, "All right, I have to go in there," and I forced myself in there, and I sat against the back wall. It's pitch black, and all of a sudden, I heard this banging coming towards me, and I just sat there and had my recorder, and eventually I left, and then when I replayed the recorder back, you hear the banging, and then I heard somebody, it was like he was right on top of me yelling, "Get out, get out." So but after that I was fine.
Wow.
My dad. Yeah. But
Wow.
yeah, for years it just was I mean, you know how it is. You walk, you go a spot, and you're just like, nah, that doesn't feel normal. I don't. So, but that was it for years. But now I have no problem.
So do you go? I'm guessing you go to other locations investigating.
Yes.
Yeah. So do you? The aspect that you have at the Fort Mifflin, do you take that with you when you go to all these other sites, or do you kind of, depending on what's going on there, does that change how you not act, but how you do your investigation?
I guess it does. Because each location's different. Like if you like Penhurst is very dark and heavy, and it's just the different feel there, and so you have to. To me, you just got to investigate different. You can't because it's I'm not familiar with all the spirits there, and you just don't want to get anything stirred up. So yeah, I do a little. It's different. You want to make sure you go with somebody that's been there. I mean, I used to go to Penhurst a lot. Way back on, I knew the group that was doing it all the time, and I was there quite a bit. But it is different. And same with Eastern State. They don't, unfortunately, they don't do the paranormal anymore. Years ago they did, and that place was very dark. So that was place has different vibes and different. So you just have to be careful, and so that's why I like just hanging out at the fort most of the time. They know me, I know them, and so I enjoy it. The energy there is just so nice. We just had Cindy Kaza there. If you remember her from Holzer Files, and she was on the Dead Files. She's the medium. And
in Gettysburg, she was doing the art there.
Oh, with the dark hair. Yeah.
So yeah,
the people in the UK don't know anybody.
I recognize her name. It's like she might have been there. I don't know.
She was there with Schrader and
yes, yeah. They were sat at that end table, weren't they?
And Shane
as you go out.
Yeah. So I got her to come to the fort. She was doing a mediums show event there, and I told her, I said, all right, once you get this far, you're going to go into the fort, and you get to a spot, you're going to feel something. And I didn't say exactly where, and she walked, and she came, stopped, and said, oh my God, I could feel it. So there's good energy there.
I'm glad you answered with that answer that you give, because the reason I asked is these paranormal TV shows, you just tend to go in to whatever location, and you could be watching not all of them, but there's at least two of them, one in the UK and one in the US. Don't need to name names. And it's the same every time they do it. It's just it's in a different place. They act the same, they behave the same, and they do the same sort of experiment sessions, whatever you want to call them.
S-step or the essay, whatever that.
Estes. But they just do the same thing every time. They don't try different things at different locations.
Correct.
that's frustrating. It's like, why don't you try a different type of session? Why do you know what I mean? Don't just keep going in doing the same thing over and over.
Right.
I want to try all the sessions everywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I hate when what pees me off the most about what the shows is they're asking for a response. They're there to try and get a response, and something happens and they're freaking out. Like, "Ah!" Yeah, they're taking off. We're like, "Ah!"
And then they run.
I mean,
Yeah.
Why are you running?
you know, I've had something climb over me and I was like, yes, yes, I'm happy because, you know, it happened. You know, that's what you're there for. And to see people freak out, it's like, oh my God. But yeah, we've dealt with it at the fort, you know, with the different shows and
Yeah.
you know, so I mean, like I always like to tell people, it's like, you know, an hour episode which ends up as 43 minutes on television because you take with all the commercials. So an hour episode is only 43 minutes of viewing time. When we had Portals to Hell with Jack and Katrina, that was 48 hours of filming for 43 minutes.
Bad, isn't
So,
it?
yeah, so there's lots of editing, lots of just, you know, a lot of dead time sometimes.
Yes.
Because anybody who does this knows you'll sit there for hours and not get anything. You could sit there for days and not get anything.
Yep.
Why do you think I do mine live?
Yep.
If I don't get anything, I don't get anything. I'm not sitting there going through hours and hours of footage to go, well, that was a waste of time. No, not happening.
Yeah, it's basically you're sitting by yourself in the dark for hours talking to yourself and hoping somebody talks back to you.
Yep.
It's like being at
You
work.
feel a little crazy after a while when you don't get any responses. You're like, how long am I going to sit here talking to myself?
Right.
But that's the thing is, so you don't know you're picking anything up because you don't want to keep stopping if you use a digital record. Yeah, it's easy to listen back, but in that time that you're stopping and listening back, you could be picking something else up.
Right, you're losing a lot. Yep.
Unless you've got two or three going. But then that's going to pick up the audio that you're listening to, unless you're using earphones or something. But it's a ball ache, is what I'm trying to say.
Yep.
Yeah. So
we have a couple questions. Where'd the other question go?
Oh, it should still. Oh, I didn't delete it, did I? Oh,
I got it. All right. Baby with Laser wants to know, Greg, have you ever camped at any of these places and have you been disturbed by anything?
Disturbed. Well, I mean, I've had disturbed. Like I say, I've had the at the fort. There's some we have in some in the casemates. There's like a bunk beds, and I sat on the bottom of a bunk bed and I had something climb over me to get to the top of the bunk bed and climb back down. You know, you feel it on the shoulders and the thighs. I've had things thrown at me. We've had people shaken awake trying to sleep there. So that's a good disturbance. We have a program called Sleep with the Ghosts. We allow paranormal ghosts to spend the night and everything, but with the fort we always do Sleep with the Ghosts, and that's coming up at the end of the month. We limit it to like 40 people, and the one year. By 6 a.m, I had 5 people left. I had to keep leaving people out all night because a couple times they were getting shaken. The barracks is a lot of people will stay in there because it has heat and AC, so it's got temperature control. So people will put their air mattresses or whatever, they're there, they want to sleep, and they do get shaken, waking up. So, but But
Do you guys like allow camping like normally on the property?
Scouting, scouting comes in and camp. And some people, they want to camp, they can camp out there. Yeah. A lot of times the scouts have always experienced a lot, and it's a lot of it. It's neat too, with the school group or a scout group, if they're just there during the day and they're not there at night. That's a great time to investigate afterwards, because all that energy from those kids, they just spirits just love that, and it really stirs it up. But yeah, the scouts, we get a lot of. We had they were all sleep. This one group was there, and they were sleeping outside tents. I mean, sometimes if they want to sleep in the casemates or the barracks or whatever, but a lot of times they'll pitch their tents on the parade ground and spend the night. We had one scout group there, and this woman calls the office on a Monday and ask about. She said she got woken up hearing wagon wheels, and then she heard French, and she's like, it wasn't like he was yelling. He was yelling, but he wasn't like he was mad. It was like he was giving orders, and it was. I don't understand why I would be hearing French, and it's like, well, it makes good sense when during the Revolutionary War, it was a French officer that was in charge of rebuilding the fort as it was being destroyed during the British, and he was yelling all night long at everybody to work on repairing the fort. And then again, when the fort was rebuilt under John Adams, it was under French. So you do pick up a lot of French there. So yeah. Yeah, the fort's unique too, because the original with the British is part of where the British, and then when it was rebuilt under Adams, it was under French engineer and officers. So it's like the fort, the one side is British and the other side is French. It's really neat.
Interesting. Have you been to Fort William Henry up in Lake George?
I have not. I love to get out to some of these other forts, but I have not been up there.
That one's interesting. We did an investigation there and got some crazy stuff, but you got to make it up there. I would like to see how it compares to Fort Mifflin.
Yeah, I'd like to get up there. Or Ticonderoga has a. I don't know if they do paranormal up there, but I love to visit that. Yeah, there's the Fort Delaware. Yeah.
You need to come to the UK because
I have to. I have my mother-in-law was from the UK, so she still has a sister and out there and stuff. So I love to get out to the UK and do some investigation. I mean, and there is a couple paracons out there, so I love to get out for a couple of those.
Yeah. See, the one
There's
that talks
there next year.
Yes, there is. Not a paracon. Don't use that word. People have died for less. So there is, all I can say is we are in talks with people who own the building, and we just need to do two little things. We've got a name, we've got a theme and everything. So it's myself and Emma from To Investigate. We're going to be traveling up to where this place is. Sorry, Sean. Definitely not Mr. Nicole. Anyway, so we're going to be doing that late September next year, but it's all touch wood. Don't want to jinx it. It's all going to plan. Everything seems to be working. We visualized it, so it's all good. So there will definitely be at least one good one next year. Dare I say. So we're going a little bit dark with it. We're not being all love and light. It's like dark and dark. That's all I can say. But I've got a question for you. So do you ever get, so when you're not just out when you're doing an investigation, but whether you just sat about or watching TV or driving or whatever at work, do you ever get the sensation like there's something, this is going to sound creepy, like it's some sort of fetish, but I promise you it's not. Like there's
God,
something
where are we going with this?
because I wear shorts quite a lot, so it feels like there's something of someone stroking the bottom of my leg, like my shin or my calf, or like the top of my head and the back of my head. And these, I'm either in the van on my own. It's usually I'm in the van on my own, or I'm laying in bed, and I'm just it's woke me up, and it's not the missus because she's facing the other way. So, I mean, it's not Bruno. We call him Dead Dog. He lies like at the bottom of the bed till daylight. So it's not him. And it's like, I'm thinking it's a spider. So I'm putting the light on to see if there's anything crawling on me, and there's nothing there. But I've been getting it quite a lot over the last, I'd say, 2-3 weeks.
Hmm.
Do you ever get anything like
Um, Not really. I mean, I've had some things follow me
that?
home that I had to take back to places, but I've not had the at home. Oh well, y- no, I can't say that. You know, my
No.
my ha- my house, the property behind my house, it had a history. A woman, she killed her 2 children and then set the house on fire before killing herself. So the house that's back there has been rebuilt. But the people we bought the house from, their kids were friends with those children, and we've had those kids come over to the house. You know, their spirits running around and playing, but
Yeah.
uh, not nothing in bed.
No. I don't hear anything, don't say anything, can't smell anything. It's just a touch sensation that I'm getting.
Hmm.
I'm just thinking I'm getting
Some,
covered in spiders.
somebody's trying to make contact.
Yeah. I wish I could like write it down on a bit of paper. It'd be a lot easier.
I saw a question out there about between the paranormal and the history.
This one? Oh, wait. There
Yeah,
we go. This one from
yeah.
Grandizer. Greg, what is the ratio of visitors you get at Fort Mifflin? Are there for the history research versus the paranormal information? Which gets the most crowd?
We do a good deal of everything since, from the Revolutionary War through the Korean War active. We have every November is the anniversary of the siege weekend. That's the anniversary of the 5-week siege at the fort, and it's always around the November 15th of 1777 is when the end of the siege happened. So we always have a reenactment at that time. So we always have a bunch of British reenactors and American reenactors, and that always draws a good crowd. And plus, Civil War military prison, we always have a Civil War reenactment. And so we do a lot of reenactments, and they do draw good crowds. So a lot of people do for the history, those crowds. But our paranormal events, they draw good. So I'd say, it's pretty close. What the normal during our general hours, it's people coming in for just to do a tour with the history and everything. But our paranormal events always draw a good crowd. So I'd say it's pretty even.
Yeah. Hmm. So what do you prefer? What's your preference when you're doing the tours or at the fort? Do you like the private ones, the public ones, just you out on your own?
Um, yeah, I mean, I love just hanging out by
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
There's times with groups, sometimes we could have groups that stay to midnight and some groups that are supposed to stay all night, but most of the times the groups that's supposed to stay overnight are out by 4 or 5 o'clock, or sometimes they're even out by 2
Yeah.
or so. So when they leave, I lock up a lot of times. I just like to sit out there and hang out and experience everything. That's when I've seen the full bodies walking around. I've heard them
No.
marching up and down the parade ground, and I just love just taking it in. And I just love sitting there and asking them to. I won't even have any equipment with me just to sit at like I
Yeah.
want to have a face-to-face conversation with somebody. So
Yes.
that's what I've been trying to do, So yeah, I like that. I mean, the public investigations are a lot of fun. You get to see the people that are regulars that come back all the time, and yeah, I love hanging by myself
Yeah.
and let everything come to me.
Yeah. I can't find that question, but I've remembered it. So this is from Baby with a Laser. He wants to know: have you ever camped out at the fort?
Yes, I've done.
Yeah, we did that one.
Did we?
Yep.
Yeah. About have you ever like camped and been disturbed by anything?
Oh,
But it was.
sorry.
We do have another question.
We've got a couple.
Yeah. You want to do that one?
Yeah. So have you got any plans for Halloween, whether yourself at the fort or a bit
I'll be at the I'll be at
both?
I'll be at a fort. We have a group that's going to be there. So I'll be Halloween. I'll be at the fort. Yes.
Yeah.
Looking
Is it
forward to that.
special or is it just box standard?
It's a group that's rented it out, so they're there for the night. So I'll be with them.
Yeah. Cool. Excellent.
Yep.
Next one is one from Grandizer. So, what were your influences getting into the paranormal? I know we kind of talked about, the fort got you into it, but like TV shows, books, documentaries, like what else has
Yeah.
drew you in?
Yeah. Well, as I said, the first year that I experienced anything was at the fort, and ghost hunters just started the year before. So started watching the ghost hunters, and then
Yeah.
had the experiences at the fort and everything. And then again, like I say, then the next year we got bumped for the ghost hunters to come in and film. But a lot of the old TV shows with Leonard Nimoy, and
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the Night Stalker, all those shows, and just a lot of books. Um, the history first. I mean, fall in love with the history. In this area, like I say, you have Fort Mifflin, but you had Philadelphia. There's Brandywine, Chad's Ford, the Battle of Brandywine, which is your largest land battle in Revolutionary War. There's the Battle of Paoli, which is right close by too. That was the Paoli Massacre, where the British removed their flints from the rifles and went in with their swords and bayonets and just slaughtered everybody. Yeah, that was a bloody war, bloody battle. Yeah, it was against Matt Anthony Wayne's group, Anthony Wayne. And then of course different places around. So yeah, I got involved with the history first, and I fell in love with the history, and then from the history go with the paranormal, which I think it's very important if you do the paranormal to know about a lot of history too. So do some research.
Yeah.
I had that backwards. So my dad was very big into history, dragged us to all the, battlefields, museums, all of that. And I never appreciated it until I got into the paranormal. And now I'm obsessed with history.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, if it wasn't for the history, there wouldn't be the paranormal. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Because that was it. I like going in blind. I like to go find out, I suppose, a little bit about what went on there, but not what paranormal activity is going on. And then find out afterwards what the activity and compare if I got anything or who the group.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'll give groups come in. I'll give a background, like a history, give them the whole history. But I won't say anything about any paranormal activity unless they specifically want to know about it. But what's really nice is we have a book for a journal for people to write down their experiences, and It's pretty amazing when you go back and start reading it, because we get so far we take stuff out so that people can't look back and see
Yeah.
write the same thing. So we keep that journal, so that's always nice to document what the activities are going on.
Yeah. Cool. So I'm just replying to a couple of things in the chat.
Grandizer has a lot of questions today.
I know he has.
This one's kind of history related. So, Greg, with Fort Mifflin being American Civil War prison, was it considered to be one of the worst war prisons of that conflict? Is it often overlooked, and why?
Yeah, I would imagine the Fort Bay in general is overlooked. So it didn't have the thousands of deaths during the Civil War as in Teutoburg, there's all those other places with the deaths. So it in general, a lot of people don't even never heard of Fort Mifflin. I mean, the siege, it kept the British from resupplying William Howe out there, and the siege ended November 15th of 1777, which allowed Washington to establish his winter quarters at Valley Forge. So people know about Valley Forge, but if it wasn't for Fort Mifflin, there wouldn't have been a Valley Forge. So the fort got the nickname "the Fort that Saved America" after that 5-week siege here. So all in all, it's just been a forgotten a gem, historical, so I mean, it's the only fort there in Philadelphia. Everybody knows about everything else there at Philadelphia, but Fort Mifflin is just a forgotten treasure that's there. So yeah.
Well, we don't forget it. We know it's there. We just have to
Yep.
get down there at some point.
Yeah,
You just have to go.
Yep, you get down, and as I tell people, it never disappoints. I mean, there's like any paranormal site, there's nights that it's off the charts, and there's nights it's not as active, but it's still active. I mean, there's a lot there. It's just not like a one building, a 3-story building, or one, I mean, there's there's what we call the casemates. That's the old prison cells, casemate 1 through 5. There's the old arsenal building. There's casemate 11, which is solitary confinement. There's called a torpedo room, where they dug a channel out to the Delaware River, and they thought they could launch these primitive torpedoes out to hit ships, and they realized how impractical it was, so they never used it to do that. But then there's the artillery shed, there's the blacksmith building, there's the commandant or the commander cells, there's the officers' quarters, there's the barracks, there's the hospital building. So there's a lot there to explore and investigate. So it very unique that you can spend a lot of time checking things out there.
Do you find that, like,
go.
Yes, you do. Next time you come over here.
Yes, definitely.
Do you find, Greg, that the people and the different groups have an impact on how much activity there is?
Definitely. As I said, the younger the groups trigger, and reenactments trigger, and those that a lot of people that are there that have no clue about the paranormal, that just come for the history, and a lot of times they're the ones that a lot of things will happen with them, because they're not expecting things, and they really haven't heard any of the paranormal, the ghost stories, and they're there for the history, and then they're the ones reporting the revolutionary tour guide, or the activity that's happening. So yeah, I think they're just open, and that their mind is just open for the history, but paranormal runs right in on them.
Yeah. Have you had anyone come up to you afterwards and say, "I'm never coming here again. It's too much. They just can't handle the amount of activity"?
Yes, yes. It was.
Wow.
It was. This is funny. We had a group that was coming in to do a pilot for a TV show, and it was a neat concept with they were bringing in different mediums, and they had brought in a uh, from the voodoo, one of those voodoo priests. They brought in a witch doctor, but from Africa. So it was so diverse with so it was like, wow, this is really cool, because I was like, I would have thought somebody
Yeah.
would have come up with this concept before. So they had all this covered of different. They had shaman. They had everything there, and during filming, uh, the African witch doctor had to leave. He said, "I can't take it. It's just too much. I got to get out of here." And we had to let him out. And he didn't even finish their filming. So
Really?
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we've had people just never come back. Yeah. So yep. But again, like I say, there's nothing really bad. It's just those nights that it could be just off the charts, and it's just overwhelming if you're not ready for it.
Yeah. Yeah, but you'd think though people would be ready for it. Like you said earlier, you know what you got going to. You've seen it on TV, seen other people do it. If you've not been to one before, so you know what to expect.
You would think so. It's just some people just they're total skeptics, and when something happens, it just totally freaks them
Just
out that
throw.
that their skepticism is shattered, so they just get out of there. I mean, I've had people capture evidence with pictures and stuff. They freak out and they will remove the pictures right away, saying, "Nope, nope, nope."
Wow.
I,
What?
yep,
No,
What
yep,
the hell?
yep.
that's
What's wrong with
terrible.
It
What's
is. It's
wrong
like,
with
oh,
them?
I was like,
It'd
oh
be
my
illegal.
god.
You should tell them,
They're
like,
like,
send it to me before you delete it.
I tried, and one person got the EVP that was so classic, and it freaked them out, and they just deleted it and said, "Nope, no, I'm out of here. I'm not. Don't, I don't believe it.
Wow.
I'm out of here." And boom. So, yeah,
I always think it's the best when the skeptics like have the experience. I always feel like the spirits like kind of mess with them. They're like, "Oh, you don't believe in me? I'll show you."
Yeah.
yep.
Mm-hmm. One last question
Sorry. Yes.
from David Glazer.
Greg, have you ever played period correct music at these places, and have you had any reaction?
Oh, yes, definitely. Um, it's funny too. We had one of our tour guides, Mary, who's been there a long time along with me. She was into the musical. Was it Jefferson? What was that musical? That
Hamilton?
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
She was into that musical, and she would come in and play that constantly. Play
Yeah.
it constantly, and she was there. One time, she's a seamstress, so a lot of times she'll come in and she's in early or what doing. She does a lot of the outfits for at the fort, and she was sewing away, and she's playing. She put on Hamilton music, and she got not that GD thing again. I don't, she just yelled at her. So they didn't. They got tired of listening to that over and over. But yeah, So, but yeah, we do play. Well, people have come in and played like Dixie or some revolutionary songs or Civil War songs and get reactions. So yes, it's a good way of triggering.
Yeah.
That's funny. Imagine the poor spirits like, that's not how it happened.
Yes. Oh yeah.
But
Definitely.
I was just going to say, so when you've done the music, have you ever done an EVP to see if they play any music back?
I've heard like drum cadences, just be there, and you hear like a little
Yeah.
snare drums going. But yeah, no, you can hear music. With your ear, you'll hear some actual music playing. Yeah, like a harpsichord or something, and just.
Yeah. No, thank you for that. No, I just thought of it then, because it's like we always, like people say about if you play music when you're out on investigation, it kind of intrigues whatever it is that you're trying to contact and like draws them to you. But I know because I've heard music when I've been out on an investigation, and it could have been from anywhere. I'm not saying it was paranormal, but it was just, it was there, and it wasn't modern day music either. It was like a 1920s female singing like piano type music. So, and that happened a couple of times. So it's like, right, okay, I'll take that, and that's it. I'm never going back there again.
Well, make sure you tip her.
Yes, it was actually quite good. I was listening for quite a while. So, and then it just stopped. So, well, Greg, thank you so much for coming on. Sorry about the beginning and the delay and the tech and me
it worked out good.
On about hot air balloons that aren't hot air balloons. It just keeps happening.
Yeah, once we got through the technical.
The hot air balloon tracker, so you can know without a shadow of a doubt, like that's not a balloon because you're looking at the tracker.
This wasn't a balloon. I've done some work. I did more research on hot air balloons today than I did actual work. So don't tell anyone.
Sounds good.
So, yeah. So thank you, Greg. It's been an absolute pleasure.
But thank you for having me.
You are more than welcome.
Once we got through the technical issues here, everything is good.
Well, it was fine until late Nicole came on. And
I was 1 minute late. 1 minute.
Yeah. Whatever. Anyway. No, it's all good. It's all good.
But it was good. And we'll be in touch soon because we're definitely going to have to book something at the fort because we haven't been down there yet.
Yep. Yes. And the fort website, fortmifflin.us. So if you want to look on some of the history of the fort, check it out. There's a lot, very interesting, great place.
Well, what I was going to do, that I was reading out about the fort, I got that off ChatGPT. I was going to copy and paste it and add it into the description on there. So, and it's got the website and everything on there as well.
Sounds great.
So, good. So thank you again. Thank you, Nicole, for eventually turning up. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Darren, Elaine, Gerald, Jane for doing the moderating. Do appreciate it. We are joined on Friday by Gerald and Jane, Midwest Night Watchers and Chiro Sounds. We also will be joined by Abby Dent, who's it's going to be more of a chat than a interview type thing because they're all friends of the show and what have you. So there's going to be 5 of us on. It's just going to be general chat about everything paranormal. So Fridays are back. And if you didn't see, it's been scrolling across the bottom. I've put posts up on the YouTube channel and Facebook that as of January next year, Wednesdays, and we're going to be guest free on a Wednesday. It's going to be a completely different format. Still going to be all paranormal. Fridays are going to be the main day for guests and panels and all things weird. We're going to mix it up, so there's not going to be 2 Fridays are going to be the same, other than when we do it every month. That's going to be the same, but with different people. You know what I mean?
Yeah? Fridays are nonsense days. Wednesdays, we're going to be structured. We're going to be talking about paranormal.
Well, you say structured. You use that term very loosely.
We're going to be structured. And Friday is like free for all Friday.
Fridays is just going to be wild card here, then everywhere, but there's going to be structure to it. So that's off. Well, our last guest is on the 10th of December this year. We're not having any more guests on after that on a Wednesday, but then all the others are going to coincide on a Friday, and we're going to mix it up a bit and what have you. So if you would like to come back on in the new year, you are more than welcome, but you'll be in like a panel type podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure thing.
It's definitely great to get you back on and have a chat about other stuff and get other people's insight into it as well. Thank you, everybody. This is going out on Spotify, Apple, Podbean, Audible, and whatever else. They're the only ones I know. So don't ask me. I ain't got a clue. Like I said, we're back on Friday with Midwest, Giro, and Abby. And then it's going to be every Wednesday and every Friday from here on, except the last 2 Wednesdays in December, because one is Christmas Eve and one is New Year's Eve. But we are going to pre-record the Christmas special in November, and I'm going to put it out on Christmas Eve. So it's all happy and festive and everything else. So that's it. Other than that, Greg, can you tell people where they can find you on other than the website for Fort Mifflin? Is there any other links?
I'm out there on Facebook, so just drop me a line. But at Fort Mifflin, So yep.
Perfect. Right. So that's it from us. Thank you all so much. Thanks again, Greg. Thank you, everyone in the chat, everyone that's listening on the podcast. The downloads are going up and up, so it's all good. And Nicole, you anything to add before we finish?
Nope. So we will we'll be at the Columns on Saturday for the Paranormal Bazaar and Psychic Fair, the Columns Museum in Milford, Pennsylvania. We're going to be at Witchington Mill after dark, and Haunted Milford walking tours on Saturday and Friday. So we got a busy weekend. So if you're local, come out and see us.
And if you're not,
start driving now. You can make it. You have until Friday.
I can't drive 4,000 miles across the Atlantic. It doesn't work like that. Right. So take care, everyone. I'll see you on Friday. And don't forget, it's better to be busy than dead.
Goodbye.